like being old sounds like sort of a repulsive disease that you have to stay away from as long as you can. But it's nonsense because it's part of life. We all want to get old, but we don't want to be old. Yes, of course, I get hairs in my chin and my body gets saggy and yeah, my hair is gray. So what? Well, it's normal. We don't need to pretend that we are sort of perfect creatures. That's nonsense.
Hello, this is Sarah from Taking Your Space, and welcome to the series Dare to Stand Out. In this series, I chat to women and we talk about their style, sustainability, and confidence in clothes. Let's go right in. And hello, Wilma Van Beek. It's lovely to meet you. We've met each other on Instagram, probably beginning of COVID, something like that.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, I came across your profile because you were a queen of layering and colors and mixing different prints and having like really always a big thing about the accessories. I know your bangles are kind of like your statement piece. So welcome to joining me today. It's great to have you here. And yeah, let's tell us a bit about yourself.
Well, in short, I am 64. I am married to Evert. And we have two daughters who are 33 and 37. And I work as a cultural programmer in the Rotterdam Public Library. And well, I'm the youngest of four girls. And well, that's about it, I suppose. The most important thing is family and job.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And you are a busy woman, so, and I see you sometimes on a bike as well, so you obviously are true to the Dutch norm of obviously cycling everywhere, so I guess your clothes have to reflect that.
Yeah, sometimes it's very impractical, like this talle skirt. It's not, well, when I close my long coat, there's no problem in riding my bike with a skirt. You can only, well, it's a bad idea to ride a bike in a pencil skirt, but that's it. I can do anything with a skirt on.
Oh, super. I see a series coming up because that's always my challenge, is like but if I ride a bike, it's not that safe in Birmingham, so I don't do it very often. Like what can I wear in order to still look nice, but also don't get myself caught in the chain. So I guess you are the queen of that.
Yeah. Well, when my pants are very wide, I have this sort of a metal thing that goes around your legs to tie it together. That's also a possibility. It looks stupid, but I don't care.
Exactly. Safety first, and then it's the kind of like fashion. Yes, and the vanity. You told me about how you started getting into your styling and your fashion, and it was a similar experience like for me with COVID. It just did something for you. Do you want to talk us through that?
Yes. Well, actually, being an event manager, actually, there was not a lot to do for me at home, but I still had to work. So I had to get up to my little office next door and, well, still be present there at 8:30 in the morning. And there were a lot of meetings and other things to do, and I could do courses. And of course, I wasn't really bored, but a little bit. But then I thought it's very tempting to dress up easily when you're going nowhere. But when I'm home and I walk past a mirror and I see myself looking like shit, then I think I get grumpy. And so I thought every morning I will be completely dressed up behind my desk, just for fun. And well, because actually no one saw it, I thought, well, let's start sort of a diary for myself. I take my picture in order to have a reference for the next time I don't know what to wear. This is quite nice, so I will take a picture and save it for myself as a sort of a library of looks I like. But then it was somewhere between Christmas and New Year's Eve. I looked at my Instagram account. I made it a few years before, but I didn't do anything with it because I didn't understand. But I was scrolling a bit, and I saw lots of women sharing their daily outfits. And that was very inspiring. So I thought, why not do that too? And so I started to do that, and I followed all kinds of inspiring people. But after a while, I thought, if I want to make a different outfit every day, I could use some accessories. But I don't have the budget to buy Limitless. So why not mix this looking for accessories with my love for thrifting? And when you get there are always a few bangles or a nice scarf or a belt or whatever. And then I discovered that the clothes in the thrift shop these days are better than ever. In the past, when I saw them, well, I actually smelled them, and then I didn't want to go there. But now they are clean and good looking. So I started looking around, and I found some nice items. And well, for a blouse, for instance, only €4 or €5. A dress €7.50, accessories €1. So that was a very nice sport for me, and it turned into a new hobby. Yeah. So and then well, it became a challenge to use what I have with what I found in a thrift shop, and I hardly ever buy in normal shops anymore, because I want to step back from fast fashion. And because I got interested in this, I have done some research, and I've watched a few documentaries, and I thought, well, maybe it's better for the planet if we don't buy as much fashion anymore. And I've even organized a theme week 2 weeks ago about clothes and fast fashion in the library. So that was fun, mixing work with my hobby.
Yes. Do you want to tell us a bit more? Because it sounds super exciting. And maybe if you do it next year, I think I want to come to Rotterdam and experience it.
Yeah. Well, I had a week of activities, like a lecture from we have I don't know how you call it, a conservator, I suppose. We have this very remarkable collection of old books. We even are the caretaker of the Erasmus collection, which is very famous because we got UNESCO World Heritage last week. And he showed the audience lots of beautiful old books about clothes and about folklore. And well, he had a lecture about that. And we had also a lecture from someone from the city hall about what the community of Rotterdam does to textile waste, and what how they stop them, or try to stop to get into landfill. And we had a clothes swap for little ones, for 0 to 6 years old. Of course, the parents came, and there was red to the children, and it was really great fun, and the loveliest little children's clothes were swapped and given away. Of course, we are a big city with lots of people with little money, so they were very welcome, all these clothes. And we had a workshop in the we call it Maakplaats, the makerspace. We have a makerspace with 3D printers and plot machines and embroidery machines. So we had a workshop to make something out of to embellish your clothes, for instance, like putting a print on a t-shirt or embroider something. We had a debate with young people, so about why do you keep buying fast fashion if you know the story behind it. We had a fashion show of African fabrics, of beautiful fabrics, very inspiring. And we had on the last day, we had this market together with the kledingbank, like a food, but then for clothes. People can buy and people can get free if you have a sort of a letter from the city hall that you can get a free package of clothes twice a year. But they also need money for rent, lighting, heating, etc. So what they don't give away, they want to sell for little money. So it was great fun to have this market, and it was very well visited. So I'm very happy about it. It was, I can say it was a success. Yes, it was fun, and it wasn't extremely big, but still, I had that day there were more than 800 people, so I was very satisfied. Yeah.
Wow. But it's also the first time you're running this. So you're thinking of continuing this every year. So I'm sure, you know, the word of mouth will go round, and you heard it here first. I think it's super just to make it more accessible, because people like us, like you and me, we are all the time in charity shops or thrift shops, because we now know, or even vintage shops, that there is so much good stuff to have. But I think there's still a large group of people who think for some reason or another it's not for them, or as you said, I think smell is a very important thing. That I think I should do a video of how I clean my clothes and make them not less smelly, or get rid of that smell. I should do that. But I think that there are still a lot of people who need to learn about, you know, the fast fashion industry, and experience for themselves of how many good items you can find in a like secondhand. I mean, that's just, and you are such a good example, because I do like how you always look very stylish, very put together, and it's always like a symphony. I like the different color combinations. I'd see if I can put in a few pictures of my favorite looks, and I will obviously link your account for everybody who isn't following Wilma yet. You should definitely do so, because for me, you are a daily inspiration, and sometimes I see something in you, like a color combination, I think like, oh, actually, I'll try this as well. And I think that's what I like. And when you explained your story of how you started to catalog your outfits, and that was my initial plan as well. I just wanted to have like a reference point of how I put things together, and then be able to go back and follow other people who do that. But I think COVID made me more experimental, and I know you told me as well that you tried more things.
Yeah, definitely. And because I buy secondhand, it's easier to try things. Like, for instance, I saw a yellow fluffy jacket. Well, I wouldn't think of buying such a thing new, because, well, it's her again with this yellow fluffy jacket. So I don't want to spend €100 on it. But when I see it for a tenner, then I thought, well, why not try it? And I actually like it, but I don't wear it that often, of course. Yeah. It's the fun of experimenting and pushing your boundaries.
Exactly. And that's what I think what draw me to you, because you are constantly trying something new. And I think that's what clothing and styling, I think, is great if people do that, if they just try something new. And it can be something small, like a small scarf or earrings, colorful. And I think it can add so much of how comfortable you feel in an outfit.
Yeah.
The other thing that's just like, and this is a question I think that can be answered in many different ways, but I wanted to get your take on it. And this is just, what does sustainability mean to you?
Being aware of our extreme ways of buying and getting rid of things again. And now I am aware, even when I buy something and there's plastic around it, I try to avoid that. I try to incorporate it in my entire life, like take the bicycle instead of the car, use as little plastic as you can. If you want to get rid of something, give it away, or upcycle it, or change something to it so you like it. Like, for instance, I buy something secondhand and I think I like it, but it's a little bit too wide, but I still want to have it. Just do some alterations by yourself if you can. And so it works for you, because it's a waste that people only wear 20% of what they have 80% of the time. That's what I've read about. It's such a waste. I try to really wear everything. Maybe not that often because I have so many clothes, but I really think this is asking for my attention. And after a year and I haven't worn it, then I might pass it on to someone. Well, sustainability is just incorporated in all the choices I make. Like, of course, I love to travel, but when it's not necessary, I don't want to take the plane. And for myself, I think once a year must be the limit. But I don't want to point at people and saying you're doing this wrong or that. No, but for what I can do, I can do.
Mm-hmm.
The sustainability is important for me. Yes.
Yeah, thank you for that, Wilma. And you touched
Okay.
a lot of important points. I think there's small changes we can all make.
Yeah.
And I think you said it rightly, like 20% of the clothes is what we wear, 80%, or a lot of us wear. And I think I totally emphasize that you're trying to wear everything from your wardrobe, not everything to a similar extent, because some things are a bit more, special, but really try to make the most. And I think what I also like about your style, and we'll go into this in a second, is that you also don't shy away from wearing something that for some people looks a bit more outrageous, or I would only wear that to a wedding or to some special events, and you make it also work in your day-to-day life. And I think that's something where what we share, which I think is really, really great. That's those special pieces in your wardrobe that you really love, that sequin jacket, wear it if you go down to the shops to buy your groceries. I mean, Wilma, you can maybe talk us first through your outfit, because you have a lovely outfit on, and then maybe we talk a bit about your style, and you can give us some examples of what are kind of like the key things in your wardrobe that you go back to over and over again.
Oh, wow. Well, the key things in my wardrobe, I think, are button-down dresses, because you can wear them as a dress. Actually, this one is a bit too tight to wear clothes, but layering something that's open, so make a vertical line. I want to look taller because I'm not that big, but by creating this vertical line, I think I look a bit taller.
Do you want to go back to the bit? I'm sure you are probably much taller than I am, because most Dutch people are. Every time I go to the Netherlands, I'll just do this.
Yeah, well, for me, we have a different metric system, but
but it comes to height.
164. I am 1 meter 64 centimeters.
Oh, we are almost exact height. I'm 163, or at least my passport says that.
Okay. Yeah. But you thought I was taller, so then it works.
Totally. It totally does.
Yeah.
It totally does. When people see your pictures, they think like, and then you say Dutch, you think, oh, that's a tall Dutch woman. She's at least 175, at least.
And I do a bit like this, so I seem slimmer, because I'm not extremely slim. I'm just average.
Yes.
But I think that can help a bit. But sometimes I don't care, and I think, okay, this makes me look fat. So what? It's no disgrace.
Exactly. Yeah. I think if it makes you happy, you look good and you feel good, and that's
exactly. Yeah.
That's, I think, the point. Do you want to go back a bit so we can see your entire outfit, because there's a lovely skirt underneath here as well. So just to see, yes, and then you have the belt. Oh, it looks super.
Yeah.
Yes,
this belt is also secondhand.
Yeah.
Only the skirt isn't secondhand. I bought that a few years ago.
And then,
of course, and the bangles.
Yes.
Yeah, I have a huge collection. I didn't count, but I think it's about 130 or something.
But you wear them every day, and I mean, it's one section, like you have a very kind of like distinct way of displaying your outfit, and then you always have one part of the picture which has like your pictures of your bangles, and I love that, because you have some really, really amazing ones in there, and there's also some fun ones. I think there's one which has like the centimeter measurements on it.
Yes,
like
it's fun.
Yeah, there's lots of different patterns and some solid colors, and I just really like it. And now I go in a charity shop, I see a bangle, and I think Wilma would pick that up.
Oh yes, definitely. Yeah, I always have to try them on because when I get older, my hands are stiff, and if I can't get them past my hand, they're useless. So I always have to try them on. Yeah.
Yes.
It's sort of a tribute to my late sister. I lost a sister years ago. It's 20 years ago now, and she always wore a lot of bangles, but they were silver. And so it's my way of thinking of her a bit. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's such a lovely, lovely story that you have
Yeah.
her in mind and keep her with those ones.
Yeah.
Thank you. That is lovely. I didn't know that before, so that's a really lovely story to share. So thank you for that.
Okay.
Do you, I thought like what would be good as well is like you pick us from your, because you conveniently are next to your wardrobe. All of our favorite places in our house are next to our wardrobe. And you
Yeah.
want to share me like some of your pieces just to help other people explain your style a bit, like, you know, some, I don't know, some dresses you want to pick out that you particularly like.
It's
Or...
very simple.
Mhm.
Navy button down.
Mhm.
It's very flowy.
Mhm.
And well, sometimes I feel a bit conscious about my body, and
Mhm.
I want to hide it a bit.
Mhm.
And this navy blue has helped me lots of times
Mhm.
to put over it and add something extra to an outfit. I
Mhm.
like the idea of having wearing 3 items, maybe 3 colors if possible. Sometimes 2, but I try 3. And this is such a classic thing. And I still thank my sister for it. She gave it to me because she didn't wear it anymore. It's a
Okay.
lovely flowy fabric. And this tops it off very often because navy blue, I think, is better with color than black with color.
Yes. 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 I think we are definitely on the same spot here. We like to
Yes.
wear color with color, and navy
Yeah.
blue, I agree. I think black is sometimes too hard with color.
Yeah. When I wear black, because I still have a lot of black in my closet from the old days, I mix it with white.
Mhm.
And
Same here.
sometimes I buy a top which is black with color. Then of course it's black with color, but it's not what I prefer.
Yeah, it's funny. We both, I think in my youth, I wore black because everybody told me, oh, you can wear it with black. And I just
Yeah.
automatically
Yeah.
went to that. And now I think as I gone more and more into my style, I think I really appreciate wearing color with color and not with black anymore. And it's very rare I do something. I think it almost has to be like black with something colored on it, like you said, like a t-shirt or something like that.
Yeah.
But most of the time it's really black and white or maybe some other neutral.
Yeah.
I think black and white gives you an immediate Chanel feel or a kind of like really strong look.
Yeah.
So yeah, no,
And I think black and white is timeless. It's always
yes,
good.
absolutely.
So a few years ago in my closet were mainly black, white,
Mm-hmm.
and blue, maybe. And that was it. And because of the possibility of experimenting when you don't need to spend a lot of money, I extended my color range a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And well, I don't really know what is the right color for me or what type I am. I will know one day probably, but I don't care. I wear everything. I think a bit of makeup helps. So I don't want to feel washed out. And there are very little colors that I really dislike. I don't like this pale old ladies pink. I can't stand it. I love a bright color, but yeah, like this, it's not so bad at all on me, I think. But I love to try everything. Yeah. I'm not afraid.
I think that's super,
Yeah.
absolutely super. And I also agree. I think like there's very few colors people cannot wear. And I feel you can make almost everything work with a little tips and tricks, either makeup or have something color close to your, you know,
Yeah.
face that is a better color suited to you. But I agree.
Yeah.
I think there's nothing that you cannot wear, especially if you really like the color.
Yeah. Well, Trini is a big inspiration for me. Every Saturday I watch her Closet Confessions, and sometimes I see things and I have something similar, so why not copy that? Like this layering comes from her. Like even on trousers, I think the way it looks. I like the way it looks, and well, she is my big inspiration. So are many of the people on Instagram, I must say. And you make your own inspiration. You don't have to copy it one on one, but it's sometimes just a little thing like a color or a belt somewhere or something small, and you pick it up and you make your own thing of it.
Yeah, that is like we share definitely Trini and other things, and I agree. I think it's just to see something and get a new inspiration of how you could style something.
Yeah.
And I think that's really good. I do watch runway shows for the same reason, because I pick something up, because everything repeats, all the time.
Yeah.
And I feel like, oh, that's a genius combination. And then I pick it up and try to incorporate it into my own wardrobe. So it's about getting new input into your brain of how to restyle things you already have. I think.
Yeah, isn't that fun? You get inspired and you don't copy right away, but you make it your own, and it's so much more original. When I walk the streets or I see in the library young girls who are very into secondhand, it's coming up very much under young people. And well, sometimes it really doesn't fit, in my opinion, but that's no problem. They have thought about it and they have their own personal style, and I love that. And well, yeah, I'm not their age anymore, but I try everything. I mean, I don't, well, age appropriate, maybe a little bit, but not too much for me, because if I find this lovely T-shirt I found last week, I was over the moon with it, really, because it's actually a children's shirt. Isn't it fun?
Yes, it's totally fun. It's totally fun.
These two were on television when my children were small, and they were their childhood heroes. And I found the T-shirt and I thought, well, is it age appropriate? No, it's not, but I don't care. What I personally don't like is too much cleavage and too short skirts. But yeah, because I have to look if I'm not in my undies all the time, so that's not for me. I don't think it's necessary, but whatever people want to do it. But I can appreciate if people pay attention to how they look instead of just grabbing jeans and a T-shirt and always black.
Yes.
Make some effort. And when my colleagues say, how can you do this so every time early in the morning, I wouldn't have the time. I said, it's so simple, just 10 minutes the night before, put it there, and in the morning you can just slide into your clothes and there's no stress about it. So I sometimes I have some, I feel the need for some happy time, and I go to my closet here and I make some outfits together, complete with the bangles and everything. And sometimes I have 4 or 5 outfits for an entire week here. And then I decide to wear something else because the plan has changed. Because I always have to consider, will there be lots of walking? Will it be cold? What kind of appointments do I have? How practical should I be? So, yeah. And sometimes I put on something nice, and then later in the afternoon, I think I have to do some gardening or whatever. Well, of course I change then into something easy. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's really good, and I do it as well. So I can totally emphasize it. Like I call it a dress up time, where I just play, and sometimes for hours, and I just put new things together, and I have this just flow. And then I sometimes, either take pictures or I put them on a hanger together, and then, as you said, sometimes then the weather changed, or I need to do something different, and then I pick something else that will probably better suit the purpose. I think for me, it's always like, do I have to walk a lot is like the key thing for me, because this decides which shoes I'm gonna go for.
Yeah, so me too.
I totally get that. I wanted to go back to this like age appropriate, because I think that's a completely misnomer. I really always hated when people said, oh, you can't wear this in your, insert age bracket. And I think like, but who is telling me that? The fashion police.
Exactly.
So I think if it makes you happy and you like it and you're not freezing or whatever, or even if you and you're okay with that,
Yeah.
I think it's totally up to you. And I like when you find something that really speaks to you, whatever that is. And at that t-shirt, I think it's super fun. I
Yeah.
don't see why you shouldn't wear it. Absolutely.
Exactly. And well, I think for many years we have all been brainwashed by maybe advertising and well, it's all about youth and staying young forever. And if you're old, you're dismissed. And I think there's a counter movement coming to emphasize of the value once you get older. It's not all about beauty and outside, but I think older people have a lot of wisdom, and well, I think our society doesn't honor their elderly people as they should. Like abroad, they are, well, grandma is one of the family and she has a certain status. But in our society, well, you're not young and sexy anymore, so you're dismissed actually, and that bothers me a bit. And like being old sounds like sort of a repulsive disease that you have to stay away from as long as you can. But it's nonsense because it's part of life. We all want to get old, but we don't want to be old. Yeah. So I think it's time to accept more of these things. Yes, of course, I get hairs in my skin and my body gets saggy and yeah, my hair is gray. So what? Well, it's normal. We don't need to pretend that we are sort of perfect creatures. That's nonsense.
Mhm.
We try to make the best of it. That's it.
I think you that is absolutely such true spoken words. It's like you should. I feel always sad when like there's a bit coming. There's still, I think, fashion industry is not as inclusive because
No.
like it's very interesting because scientifically, women after the age, so the median age is 35 when they start to feel confident in their body. I mean, I'm going to be 40 in like 2 days, and I can tell that's true to me. So I felt much more, not confident with my body, like in my 20s for sure. And then even in my early 30s, and only later on, I just thought it like, F it. I don't care. I am who I am, and I'm going to dress myself the way I like it. I started now wearing things like crop tops, which I've never did in my youth. Never. I mean, I don't go extreme, but just a little bit. And I don't have a flat stomach whatsoever. But I just said, like, I want to wear it. I'm going to wear it because it's just now or never, and that's I think that's the right attitude. So I really agree that, like, I think women like are not like, we have like almost like a best before date where we are not seen in magazines, not seen in some TV shows, or just somebody who isn't like kind of like a normal aging woman, so to speak. And I feel that's really a gap that's missing, because I think, like, as we grow older, we also have more buying power.
Yeah,
So we
that's
are
true.
actually the main, like, as a teenager, I couldn't afford things. It's only now when you can do like the odd, fancy purchase or things like that.
Yeah, that's true. It's some sort of a fairy tale and we all are brainwashed by it. And that's what annoying me. But I was also influenced, of course, because in my opinion, I have a fat bum. So I always had to cover it and don't wear this and don't wear that. And now I think I just leave it behind. I needed to become 64 for that. Why didn't I think of that earlier? Just stupid. But doing this posting on Instagram every day made me reconcile myself with how I look, because I always saw some flaws and this wasn't good and that wasn't good. And now I think this is what the world has got to look at all the time. So I'd better deal with it myself too. I can't help it. I just make the best of it. Yeah.
but you look absolutely gorgeous, Wilma. I mean, that's why it attracted me to you, because I liked your style, your layering. There was, you know, always an experimental piece to it. You don't shy away from, you know, doing maybe something a bit different. And I think that's really nice. And especially because I think social media made it easier for us to edit our own, you know, feed. Because
Yeah.
I follow people that I want to see, not what some magazine editor or so thinks beauty is. I find people who share, you know, similar values about sustainability,
Yeah.
and also, you know, like mixing, experimenting with clothing. And I think that's great. And it's, I'm glad you found it now, and I'm glad you no longer feel like you have to, you know, hide your bum or that is
Yeah.
holding you back, because it's nonsense. We all come in different shapes and sizes.
Exactly. Yeah.
We'll just have to see what works for us, you know. That's
Yeah.
the key.
Yeah. And I dress for me. And it's nice if someone says something nice about it, but I dress for me, and that's it. What it does to me. I'm not interested in the male gaze, as they call it. Just for me, just for having fun and showing, well, expressing something of myself. And there are lots of things in my life I can't control, but this I can control. Yeah.
I think that's a very good thing as well. Like that you dress for yourself, which I think is important. Don't dress for anybody else or for fashion trends or anything like that, because I think that's not helpful, because you don't go deep and understand yourself and what really makes you tick and the clothes you should wear in order to represent that. So I think that's really good that you do that. And I think that's also coming to me, like even through your pictures. I think it feels that it's authentic you, and that's great, because you cheer yourself up with your clothing.
Yeah. That's it. Cheering myself up. And sometimes I I dress like I feel, but sometimes I dress like I want to feel. Like when I'm having a difficult conversation, in some situation, I think, well, a power suit can help me feel strong. Yeah. look. Well, it may seem as if I have everything under control, which is not. Yeah, sometimes it just helps you a little bit. Yeah. So I love the men's department in the thrift shop too. I have bought a great suit, and I've worn it 2 weeks ago. A dark charcoal gray men's suit, and I cheered it up with some bright colors, and I felt really good in it, and vibrant, and I felt young in it. Well, that's not bad at all.
That's
Sometimes.
not very bad at all.
No,
Yeah,
no.
absolutely. And I think I remember that suit. Yeah, it's I also recommend the men's department. I think every time I bring somebody to a charity shop, I really say, like, we have to go there, because the shirts are amazing, oftentimes much better quality.
Yeah.
I think the white shirt I get in the men's department. And yeah, suits, I've got a pair of jeans, belts. I really try shorts. I picked up a Ralph Lauren kind of like checked shorts just yesterday, which are amazing. So
Yeah.
they will go into my summer wardrobe for sure. So yeah, absolutely. Top tip, men's department. Don't shy away. Go in there.
Yeah. And the happiness you feel once you have found something special, a little gem. Well, where I buy is the thrift shop is really the bottom of the entire chain, because the best items are picked out by vintage shops, and they sell dresses for 40, 45 euros. And there you find the genuine vintage stuff. Where I buy is just the leftovers nobody wants, but I think it's a sport to see something in everything. And well, even a simple t-shirt can do it for me. If you wear it backwards, or you cut it into pieces, like I made this necklace the other day, there's always something in it if I like the color or the material or the shape. And I try to make it work for me. And that's the joy and the creativity. And well, that's what I think is most important about myself. I think for me is my creativity, because it makes me it makes me able to deal with things, because I don't stop. I try to find solutions in every way. If it's about clothes, it can be about everything. There's a problem, I try to make a solution for it. I try to find a solution. So that's the most important thing my mother gave to me. Yeah.
Yeah, that's super, just to keep going and keep working, and I like that you challenge yourself, because I know that not everybody feels they can do that. Some people, I think it's hard to go to a charity shop and they are overwhelmed with, because like you go to a fast fashion and they have the outfit already on the model, or things hang next to each other.
Yeah.
Versus in a charity shop, you have to kind of like switch your brain on and remember what you have in your wardrobe and how you can style it. So I know that you obviously are in the kind of like super league, because you even like to go, and I totally feel that. I like to go into like the more, sometimes a bit difficult charity shops where there's so much stuff and so uncoordinated, and then I find something like a little thing, and you pick it out and you have like almost an eye for it. But yeah, you are definitely in the super league of charity shopping.
Well, it's so much fun. It's my main hobby at the moment. I don't go shopping in the regular shops anymore. Well, I live in this, I work in the city center. So when I leave the library, I'm overwhelmed by the Zara and the Primark and H&M, etc. And when I walk to the tram, once, if it rains, I don't go on my bike. But when I walk past these shops, sometimes I go in and I take a look and I go out right away. I think everything is expensive. And it bothers me to see so many people with their Primark and Zara bags. I think, well, try something else, people, please. Well, I'm not going to tell them, but I try to create some awareness. And I don't follow people anymore that buy new outfits every day or do these shopping hauls. I don't block them, but I don't follow them anymore, because there is no fun in that, apart from what it means to the environment. There's no creativity. I like the quirky types that do crazy stuff, and I love to look at them like a piece of art. And I get a lot of inspiration. I like to be inspiring to others, but I get even more from others. You pick it all up, and I'm really addicted to my phone these days. Yeah.
I think, yeah, I feel you. I see when I go into Birmingham city centre. I was yesterday just to pick something up, and we have like the biggest Primark in Europe, the world, I don't know. It's gigantic, and I normally go through it because it's on 2 floors, so my bus stops at the back end and then I go through, and the amount of people just go and buying so much stuff. And I have to say, when I came to the UK, and when I think I moved to Glasgow in 2009, I was a PhD student, which obviously little money, and I remember I discovered Primark, and I immediately was also like, wow. And then I had like a phase where I would go there often and just buy loads. And then I kind of like switched, because where I lived in a different part, which wasn't close and only had charity shops. And that's when I then started. And it just helped me. And I think charity shops in Britain are amazing. Like, you can get so much stuff, like amazing stuff. So I then kind of like rarely went into those. But I'm with you. I think sometimes people just also buy it, say like, yeah, well, then I'll chuck it away. And that just breaks my heart, because it's somebody who on less than a livable wage has produced, the chemicals that went into it, and, the water we use, CO2 to get it here, you bin all of that. It's been produced for nothing. And, or you bin it without even wearing it. And that breaks my heart. So the lack of awareness of that. And then also, not having any pride and joy in their wardrobe, and not looking after things, and just really, find different avenues. Because as I said, like, I think there is like secondhand shopping experience for everybody. Somebody like us who is not afraid to go into the things that some people find repulsive.
Mhm.
And then you also have, like, I have a designer dress agency here locally that is like a boutique, and it's really, really nice. And people can bring their clothes and they sell it on their behalf. And, you know, everything is really nicely arranged. It smells lovely, and so on and so forth. So I think people can find whatever their level is. But I
Yeah,
think I'm really keen of getting people out of this mindset that only something new is valuable, or that clothes aren't valuable, because I think they
exactly.
are. They've been produced, there's material, effort, and all of that needs to go, you know, needs to be kind of like cared for, looked after for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
we are exhausting our planet, and it's time that things like that are changing. Like during this clothes week, I also showed a lot of documentaries. You can find so many of them on YouTube, but it's hard to keep your tears in when you look
yes.
at that, like the circumstances and the extreme disaster that is going on. And I think we can all do something about it.
Mm.
Every little thing helps. But
Absolutely.
I must admit, I love buying. It's some sort of rewarding feeling. So
Mhm.
then the best alternative is thrifting for me.
Yes.
I can still buy, I can still be happy about something,
Mhm.
even happier, because when I used to buy a new dress, I always felt a little bit sort of guilty,
Mhm.
and I don't have that anymore. And now I have too many clothes, and well, it's sometimes difficult to close my closet without my clothes want to escape. They think it's too full. And
Yes.
yes, I sometimes I think I need to stop doing this, but I love it so much. So we have this system here that they call it a chain swap. You can put your things in a bag and pass it on, and someone can take something out, put their stuff in it, and pass it on. It's a very good system,
Oh
just for
wow.
free.
Oh, that's really good. Oh, I like
Yeah.
that. That's so we have so in my local community they have, like, I think it's next week, they have like a swap shop where people bring in like their clothes and they get like how many tokens, how many items, and then you
Oh,
can,
yeah.
you know, trade them. So that's really good. I've been to that one and I got like this amazing pink jumpsuit that I love and wore loads. So that is something we do. Normally our charity shops, that's where I try to donate. I also sometimes sell some stuff on Vinted.
Oh, yeah.
Hence really which item is. So some items I sell, and I want to also use the designer dress agency. I have a few nice items which I think would potentially get some money out of it and make somebody else happy. So there's different ways. So I'm all for the kind of like keep it in the circle.
Yeah.
There is very few items which are not wearable anymore, but I know our charity shops sort these out, and these are then get sold down and made into something else, so properly recycled. So yeah, I think it's
Can you use a sewing machine?
yeah, I have actually two. I have a sewing
Okay.
machine and I have an overlock
Oh,
machine.
wow.
Yeah. I don't use it that often because they're like hidden, but I have a very good dry cleaner and I have a seamstress as well. So
Oh, that's
I do
nice.
get things altered. So you mentioned this before. I think
Yeah.
this is where I always try to tell people, like, you can get things fitted to you, like haute couture is fitted.
Yeah. Yeah.
And for not much money. Like I had zips changed because they broke, things shortened. I
Yeah.
had like recently I had like a skirt that was too small for me. It's a short skirt, but I have the blazer, which I love. And I got some orange stripes kind of inserted to just give it a little
Wow, clever.
extra. And that's like, you know, my local dry cleaner made that. He's an amazing tailor. And that's just, I think there's more of these businesses coming up.
Yeah.
And I think people just have to have a look at, I know in London we have, it hasn't made it to Birmingham, but there is an app called Sojo. I think I can link it as well for everybody if there's somebody watching in the London sphere. And there it's a bit like Uber. So there's people with bicycles picking up your clothes that need altering, then cycling to your nearest tailor. They do it for you or repair it if you have a rip, and then they bring it back to you. So it's like
Wow.
too friendly. Plus
Yeah.
you get your clothes, you know, fitted, altered, stuff like that. And I think that's brilliant.
Yeah.
Absolutely brilliant.
Yeah. Well, for many years I have sewn the clothes for my children when they were small, and for myself too. And I made jackets and everything. But my eyes got worse, so I couldn't do it anymore, and I got less time. So, but I know how to alter little things. So yeah, sometimes I have bought something in a charity shop and it's not exactly the right thing. It's, well, by altering little things, I use it. Otherwise, it will stay in my closet forever, and it will be useless. That's what I want to prevent. I want to use everything. Yeah.
Yes, yes. I have also this challenge. If there's something I come across and say like, well, you haven't worn this yet, and then I'll pick it out and I'll make myself style it.
Yeah.
And that's just to get my, to not waste things. I have things hanging in my wardrobe that I don't wear. Yeah, I think that's important.
Yeah, and I think styling is so important. You can have the nicest clothes, but if you just put them on, well, they have to be really, really very exquisite to do the trick. But what I have is really rather common. I don't have very expensive stuff. It's just normal stuff you find everywhere, basic, and I try to lift it up by accessorizing. I have never bought anything more expensive than when I bought a new €100 or something. I don't, because I feel it's a waste for buying something like that if you hardly wear it. Like, I don't have very glamorous, ostentatious or whatever dresses. I love them, but then I realized, why would I buy it if I don't wear it? It's a waste. So let someone else have it. But I can appreciate it. But yeah, not for me. I have to be practical. Can I wear this to work? Yes. Well, okay, my sequin things, I do wear them to work, but not very often. But then I tone it down a bit with a blazer over it or something. But yeah,
so
just try everything.
Yeah, I wear sequins to work, and I think they make me really happy. And it's funny that, like, as you said, you dress for yourself. So I sometimes feel like a sequin day. But like the responses I get from wearing sequins is always very funny, because people really pick up on that. So I do think sequins are for every day, not just for Christmas or special occasions. So yeah, if I feel like a sequin day is coming up, I definitely pull them out.
Yeah, and I see this gorgeous bright pink of yours, which makes me look a bit muted or dull or whatever. But I love this bright pink. So whatever pink I see in the charity shop, I want to have. And I love the combination with orange and red and this very bright colors. I really love it. And I even found a new love for neon. So when I find something little like a belt in neon, I really want to have it.
I'm with you on that. So this is from a charity shop in Brighton. I got like 2-3 years ago, and I really, really love it. I'm like you. I see like pink, and I pink it out, and also neon. The funny thing is, for a long time in my teens, 20s, and even probably some of my early 30s, I didn't like the color pink. So being a feminist as I always was, I hated when, they made like bicycles or things for women, and they automatically, gave us weaker components, like rubbish components, but painted it pink and said, oh, it will appeal to women. And that pissed me off immensely. Yeah. Or that everything for females, for women was like, I think like shavers, like, shaving legs. I have to this day only men's ones, because the women are not as good. And in the beginning, they made them just all pink. And it just, all this kind of like stereotyping I'm projected onto this color. Yeah. Whereas I don't know exactly when it happened, somewhere in my mid-30s, I all of a sudden realized it's not the color I hate, it's what stands behind it. Yeah. And now I'm wearing it because it's loud, and I'm not hiding, and I don't want to hide. And it's the same with neon. I don't mind people see me from afar. Right. Even safety, if we have like foggy mornings sometimes. So yeah, it has a dual purpose, but I really, really go out, and I now love pink in lots of different shades, because I think it's a neutral, because people don't realize with how many colors you can actually combine pinks and various different shades of pinks.
Yeah, it's surprising. It's surprising how many colors you can wear it with. Like even this kind of color is nice with it. Yeah.
Absolutely. Anything, or the teal, like your wall behind. I love that combination.
Yeah.
As you said, orange, yellow, the purple.
Yeah.
I mean, that light blue is
yellow, blue. Yeah.
Goes with anything. And as I said, like the orange pink is probably a personal favorite of mine, because it's just such a happy. That's why I had these. These are also, I think I've got them from Depop.
Oh, nice. And your rings?
Oh yes, so these are actually, I bought them from a shop called Bijou Brigitte, and every time I go back to Austria,
we have them too. Those shops.
Yeah. Oh, they don't have them in the UK, and I really like. So I don't have really expensive jewelry, but I do like colorful ones. So I find some in charity shops, and then some I do when I go to like Bijou Brigitte, whenever I go back to Austria, and I have a look and see what they have. So the rings came from there, because I like colorful jewelry. I think that's just adds a bit of pop.
Yeah, and a bit of fun. Yeah, we're not afraid to stand out.
Exactly. Absolutely. It's like not afraid to stand out, not afraid to take our space. So that's exactly what this is about. Thank you so much, Wilma. It was a delight talking to you.
We can talk for hours, I think.
Exactly.
Well, see you. Thank you very much.